Welcome back, everyone. My name is Patrick. You're watching the Oilers Rundown, broadcast on the Oilers Fanatic and the Heavy Hockey Network. Well, let's get the big news out of the way first. Brandon Saad has officially signed with the Vegas Golden Knights, 1 year, $1.5 million prorated. So we know there was interest from the Edmonton Oilers side, but ultimately not to be. I was excited at the potential of signing Brandon Saad, but at the same time, there'll be other targets here for the Edmonton Oilers to go after. Probably have to move another body out if we're bringing somebody in anyway, so the Oilers are doing great right now. It was a frustrating loss last night, but something I didn't mention in the Fanatic Rundown last night, the Detroit Red Wings have really been on fire since hiring Todd McLellan as their new head coach, and I don't think I was giving them enough credit in my video last night, so the Oilers are doing great right now, despite that loss to Detroit last night, and losing out on Brandon Saad is certainly not the end of the world here for the Oilers. But we did get some other salary cap news that will affect what other targets the Oilers can go after at this year's trade deadline and in the years to come. Insider Elliot Freeman reporting this morning that the NHL and NHLPA have released cap estimates for the next 3 seasons. In 2025-2026, the cap will go up to $95.5 million. In 2026-2027, $104 million. And in 2027-2028, $113.5 million. So this is music to the ears of the Edmonton Oilers, who have new deals coming up for Connor McDavid, Evan Bouchard, goaltender Stuart Skinner. Go down the list. The cap going up is a huge relief here for the Edmonton Oilers. We knew it was coming, but getting these solid numbers here, a great relief for Edmonton. Some fantastic news here, and hopefully it does open up an even wider window here for the Edmonton Oilers to go after targets, potentially this summer and at the trade deadline. They've got some options if they get guys with term. Knowing what the cap will be after you get those guys with term is going to be a huge help here for GM Stan Bowman and his team. According to insider Bob Stauffer, this was the Oilers' lineup at practice today as they get set to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m. It was a top line of Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, and Corey Perry. Head coach Chris Knobloch did point out in his media availability that this line will not stay together for the whole game. Corey Perry is not going to play as many minutes as Connor and Draisaitl, of course, so we will see some different combinations. On the second line, Nuge is centering Zach Hyman and Victor Arvidsson, so I don't think we've seen this one at all. It might have been a combination for a few minutes in a game, but this one looks brand new to me. On the third line, Vasily Podkolzin, Adam Henrique, and Connor Brown. Draisaitl, Arvidsson, and Podkolzin have been a staple for a long, long time here, so a little bit surprising to see them split up. Maybe they're back together for puck drop tomorrow, we'll see, but for now, Podkolzin, Henrique, and Brown. On the fourth line, Jeff Skinner, Matthias Janmark, and Kasperi Kapanen. Noah Philp was the extra forward there, so it looks like he may potentially be sitting out tomorrow's game against Toronto. Jeff Skinner's probably a little frustrated. He probably played his best game as an Edmonton Oiler against the Detroit Red Wings, and once again, he finds himself on the fourth line, so we'll see what happens. Like I said, head coach Chris Knobloch said he would mix things around throughout the hockey game. Corey Perry's not staying with Draisaitl and McDavid the whole game, so maybe Jeff Skinner will get a shot up there. Let's see what happens here tomorrow. On defense, Nurse and Bouchard and Kulak was skating with Ty Emberson and Troy Stetcher. Matthias Ekholm and John Klingberg were not on the ice at practice. They are both sick, so we don't know exactly what their status is for tomorrow's game against Toronto. I imagine at least one of them is in, so we'll see what happens towards game time at 5 p.m. tomorrow, and it looks like Stuart Skinner will get the start against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And just as I wrap up recording here, it looks like JT Miller has finally been traded. He's headed to the New York Rangers, so that was a deal we saw coming here for a while. Looked like Miller was potentially heading to New Jersey, maybe. The Rangers, I think a deal was close there before he had a great game against the Edmonton Oilers a couple weekends ago. So JT Miller officially out of the Pacific Division. That's all I have for now, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the JT Miller trade, on the lineup for tomorrow. Do you agree with the moves that head coach Chris Knobloch made? Do you think we'll see some different combinations tomorrow? Are you upset that the Oilers didn't land Brandon Saad? Like I said, I was potentially excited about it, but not really bummed out too much on missing out on him. So let me know your thoughts on everything in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.